Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony, marketing manager at Anika Digital. Today we have Emil, paid social strategist at Anika Digital, who will be giving a presentation on taking your Meta Catalogue ads to the next level. And of course, we have the founder and CEO, Anne Stanley, here to join us on this webinar. How is everyone doing? Morning, Anne. Morning, Emil.
Morning.
Morning.
How are both of you doing? How's the weather?
It's very good, thank you. It's sunny for a change, which is nice.
Someone's already complimented the PowerPoints.
That's good.
Pass that on to Andras, who designed it.
That's nice. That's nice. So, what's happening this morning then, Tony? You're in charge.
So today we're going through a presentation on taking your Meta Catalogue ads to the next level. So Emil is going to be going through how you can take your Meta Catalogue and explaining it from the foundation level up to the technical level. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to put it in the chat, or you can wait till the end, and then Emil or Anne will be able to give you more insight to your questions. So Emil, do you mind taking it away?
Yeah, sure.
Are you going to do the polls?
Yeah, do you want to
I just wanted him to introduce himself first, then we can go straight to the polls.
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. As Tony mentioned, I'm a social media strategist here at Anika. Been here for just over 3.5 years now. Worked at a Nottingham-based agency, doing pretty much the same thing before, working with various social media accounts. I'm involved all the way from the pitching stage to the day-to-day management. Work with business sizes ranging from startups all the way to multinationals. So obviously poses completely different challenges. I've got a track record of gaining results for e-commerce brands in particular, including multiple awards. In fact, in 23, we got so many that we could make a Stegosaurus on my colleague Ed's back, which I don't think many can say they've done. So I don't know if you want to take this one, Anne.
Yeah, so a little bit about Anika then. So Anika is going to be fully grown up in February. It's our 18th birthday. So we've been working with digital, and we've been offering digital marketing for e-commerce and established brands over the last 17 years. We have 5 pillars to our offer: strategy, social media, which obviously Emil's heads up, one of the social strategists, search marketing, which is PPC and SEO primarily, lots to do with shopping ads because of shopping and marketplaces and affiliate marketing, etc. for e-commerce brands. And then we do have the training division as well. So welcome to anybody here that's on the DMI course. It's great to have you along. Just as a little note before Emil carries on, if you haven't noticed, there's 2 arrows top right of the slides, which you can hit to make the screen bigger. Because when Emil gets to the next stage, you're probably going to want to blow the screen up. So that will help you in a bit.
Good.
Right. So just on the agenda, so you know what I'm going to go through. I'm going to start off explaining what catalogs are, just for the beginners in the room. Then just a very brief overview of how you would go about setting them up, where you would do it. And then going into the more interesting stuff, how you can start to enhance catalogs, make them more eye-catching, and different integrations that you can use to take them to another level. So I think Tony's going to send out a poll at this point.
Yeah.
Just so we can get a gist of what sort of experience the room has with catalog ads.
Okay, so we're going to start polling. Everyone should be able to see that on their screen, and then we will be able to see as the answers come in. So the first question is, do you currently run catalog ads? If yes or no, I don't know what it is, or no, but I know what it is, or like yes sometimes, or yeah, majority of the time. If you don't mind, put it in. We can see a split. Just going to give it a little bit more time for people to respond. A couple of people do not know what it is, so not to worry. Emil is going to explain what it is in depth today. Yeah.
Can you maximize the poll so people can see the results?
It's maximized.
Oh, okay. I think it's just because I'm on full.
Yeah. And then we're going to go straight to the next poll.
Yeah, I'm on full screen. So do you want to just let me know how many people said majority and what percentage said majority, and what percentage said don't know what it is?
So we have about 56% of people saying that they do not know what it is. 25% says no, but I know what it is. And then 15% said yes. So sometimes they do run that. And 5% said yes, majority of the time they do run catalog ads. So we can see that majority of the people on the webinar today do not know what it is. So Emil is going to go ahead to explain that.
Okay. Well, luckily, once I show you what they are, you'll all know what it is if you're active on social media.
So for the second poll, we have it's marked on the screen. So the question is, do you use Advantage and Creative in your catalog ads?
So this is called Advantage Plus.
Yeah.
This question applies to the people who actually use catalog ads.
And we can see a split. 83% of people said no, they do not use Advantage Plus. And 9% people said yes, they often use that.
And how many, Tony, can you see how many people have answered that question?
Yeah, so we can see 34 people said no, 5 people said yes sometimes, and 4 people said yes often. So that's 43 responses in total.
Yeah, so I think some of these might be people that might not actually use them at all. So you just need to be aware that it's more the yes often and sometimes. I think that's useful there.
But we're better off saving the other ones as we go through, because they're sort of, the polls are sort of suited to each section.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get cracking. So catalog ads is essentially the ads that look like this. When you have a carousel with products, with a shop now button, and then you got the name, and usually, obviously, the different sections are editable, but usually it has a product name and a price. And then you got the business name at the top with sponsored underneath, and you scroll through it. The average e-commerce brand on Meta is spending 65% on catalog ads. So it's a massive part of the allocated budget for especially bigger e-commerce brands. The most recognizable ones are probably the likes of Amazon. I get pulled in by Amazon ads all the time and end up buying stuff I don't necessarily need, but they just persist with it and they keep on suggesting things that are suitable for me. So this is an example of a catalog ad from Amazon live from a feed. And I'm sure if you're active on Instagram or Facebook, you see this type of ad all the time. Now, these ads are what's called dynamic, which means that they change all the time. No one's sat in the background uploading these manually. They're dynamic. And say, for example, you go to a website and you view a product. If the tracking is set up correctly, it will most likely show you that product or something relating to that product that you just viewed. The ads are designed to generate sales, and they tend to be the most profitable type of ads, hence why people allocate a lot of the budget to these types of ads. Amazon and Temu, for example, they invest staggering amounts on catalog ads, which is why people see them so often, because the budgets behind are ridiculous. So they automatically pull and update the product from what's called a shopping feed. You can dynamically display different elements such as the images, the price can be pulled through, the sale price, and the description. and out of stock products are automatically excluded as well. When it comes to setting them up, if you want to set them up, you'll have a business manager within Facebook for your business. Within that, there's something called the Commerce Manager. In the Commerce Manager, essentially, if you don't have a catalog set up, you'll be able to add it in there. Essentially, you set up a link with your product feeds and sync all the products. Obviously, I'm not going to explain step by step because the webinar isn't about setting up the ads. It's more about enhancing them. But you upload the products. Be the same feed as your Google Shopping feed, or you can have a specific one for Meta. And you can use partner integrations like Shopify and WooCommerce to do this. And the products get uploaded, and then you have a big list of them as seen in the screenshot. Once you have the feeds uploaded, you can start to create different product sets, and you can use them for different ad sets. So you type in different rules. So, for example, in this case, the title contains Roald Dahl. I only want to advertise those for an ad set or a campaign. And you can categorize them in loads of different ways. It could be price-based, it could be category-based, it could be specific product-based. Moving on from the basic type of catalog ads, we're going to look at labels, frames, and enhancements. The main thing to think about when you're adding to your feeds is you shouldn't rely on plain text. A lot of advertisers, they overestimate the impact of the primary text in the headline. So the primary text is the text above the creative, and the headline is the text underneath. The problem is that most people don't take notice of that text. So if you don't add key information in your visual, it's most likely that the user won't see it. So say you have a 50% offer and you just have a picture of your product, and then you mention the 50% in the text above. There's a good chance that the user will never know that it was a 50% off offer, so they never click through. If they're interested, they might look beyond the creative, but the visual needs to spark that interest. When you set up ads for catalogs, what you can do in order to enhance the feed a little bit more is by adding frames. So in this case, this is for a client where if you can see the logo badge that we've added onto this then adds an element of branding to what's otherwise a very plain catalog ads. These books are also not unique to the client. So if you remove that badge, essentially you're advertising a Tintin book. But if you add the badge, then you're advertising a Tintin book from books to door. And there's quite a big difference there, because you want to make the connection that the book is from books to door in this case. You don't just want them to buy the Tintin book from anywhere, because that book is sold by multiple retailers. That can be used for sales as well. So using the plain example here, we've added some frames for Black Friday. This is for one of our clients called Housing Unit. So for them, we've used Black Friday frames, so you can see that stands out and delivers that key message more effectively than if it was just plain. Simple branding on the side, just to make sure that they know it's housing units and building for the future. Autumn sale in the bottom right there as well. So it's just taking it to that next level. You can also pull catalog information from the feeds into the creative or the visual. Now, the options there is that you can pull the price through. You can have a strike-through price, which is the before and after. You can add in the percentage off and the free delivery. So again, you give a little bit more context to the product that you're advertising, especially if you're competitively priced or you have big discounts on, then that's going to add another incentive for the user to click through and potentially purchase. So we mentioned Advantage Plus Creative. A lot of you won't know what that is because you didn't know what catalogs are, but essentially it allows you to add other elements to your catalogs. Some of them are better than others. For example, here, this is you can add a sale badge if products are on sale. It will automatically know if it's on sale or not based on the full price and the current price. But other enhancements are including music, and we've had cases like Meta has, for example, added the birthday song to ads that have nothing to do with birthday. So it's a case of AI is definitely not perfect yet, because there would be no reason why the birthday song should be chosen. Here you have a bunch of the different types of Advantage Plus enhancements that you could use. So again, you have expand image sometimes, because that's also AI generated. Sometimes it struggles to expand the image in a good way. It might struggle to follow a pattern, and it could ruin the look of the creative. So you always have to make sure that you pay attention to what it's actually producing. Sometimes you can generate backgrounds, but again, I've had cases where the generated background looks a lot worse than the original. So you just got to pay attention to those things before you actually decide whether you want to turn it on and off, because you can turn all of these on and off. Now, when it comes to making the ads more eye-catching, the reason why you do this is because when you consider the amount of people that you're reaching with your ads, those numbers are usually extremely high, especially if you've got a healthy budget. But the amount of people that purchase in comparison to the amount of people that you're actually reaching, you look at that and 99.9% of them are not purchasing. So in their case, they've just seen the product ad and they've moved on. But if you're not adding any sort of visual value or brand value, then they'll only remember the product. So it goes a little bit back to the labels, to the frames with the logos, for example. You want to make sure that even the people that aren't ready to buy now, they remember your business and connect the product to your business, so that by the time that they're ready to purchase, or by the time you've served the ad enough times to be able to convince them, they're buying it from you and not just from anywhere. So plain product feeds, they're essentially quite difficult to remember, especially when it comes to the business. They might remember the pair of shoes, but if you don't have that brand value, what are they going to search for when they go into Google? Because these ads also add to other channels' revenue streams. People, if you have that brand value as part of your ads, people will start to Google your brand. So they'll Google your business, grey shoes, because that's what they can remember. Creative integrations, they help you take your catalog visuals to a completely different level. Essentially, you apply a creative template to your feeds, and then that can dynamically pull information into the visual. So if you look back at the plain white ads compared to what Nike have done with the Nike Select range here, you can see that it's a completely different level where it stands out. It's got colors, it's got information within the visual where people's attention will be. Like I mentioned at the start, people don't pay that much attention to what's happening above and below, but they pay attention to the actual visual. So here they've got the pricing, they've got the name of the shoe, they've got the campaign name there, and then they've got free delivery and returns as well. So they've added another reason why you should purchase from them. We've used that for clients as well. So if you look on the left, you got a plain book ad with a white background. And then we've added a couple of creative templates where we then have, in the first one, we've got the Trustpilot reviews in the bottom right. We've got the logo in the bottom left. We've got sale price, before price, and the discount in there. So 3 elements. And then we got the colors as well that make it stand out a little bit more. On the right, we're testing different colors. We're only going for the sale price, the discounts, and we've got the brand name in there as well. Now, just because we encourage people to be more creative with the feeds, in some cases, people will be more reactive to the plain ones. So we recommend running them alongside each other so that you can capture the maximum potential of your market, because people react to different things. People will react to the red and orange, and other people will react to the turquoise. Just the psychology of people varies massively. Whereas some people, they want the plain because they're used to that. That's what they've seen. That's what they trust. So running them alongside each other and testing and reassessing after a while, seeing if one massively underperforms compared to the others, then you might want to refresh that, add in something new, and test that again. Test a different color, test the percentage off versus the sale price and the strike through. Just continuously testing, essentially. You can use them on campaign level as well. So here's an example of how that might look for a Black Friday campaign. Again, if you look on the example on the left there, you got a very plain white background. If you were to add some Black Friday text above that, it's unlikely that that's going to have a massive impact on the user compared to it being off sale. Whereas here, it's very clear that this is a Black Friday ad. It kind of screams discounts, and probably will. These are the types of ads that we'll be testing when we go into Black Friday next month. And it's likely that they're going to have a much greater impact than the plain ads. Again, we'll probably test it and have a look. But sometimes your instincts are quite obvious. And in this case, I would say it's going to be obvious that this is going to perform better than the plain ads for those Black Friday campaigns. It's not just limited to catalogs with a white background. So if you're a business that has more lifestyle imagery, you can still add elements to those images. So IKEA, they do that quite well. Here we've got one from Denmark where they've got the pricing in, they've got the name of it, they've got the name, they've got the category, which is kitchen, price, and the before price, just to highlight that it's actually discounted at the moment. They've also added in text at the bottom with the end date, just to add some urgency there, and they've got the membership label as well, so that just to highlight that it's for memberships. That might increase the membership signups. By using those types of templates, you can also have feeds with multiple images. That obviously allows you to show different angles, show your product on its own and in use. So the Cambridge and Satchel company here, they've got the lifestyle image of the lady wearing the bag, and then they've got 2 different angles of the bag. They've got the front and the back. So now you're getting, instead of relying on the user seeing one image, then clicking through to your site, and then finding the rest of the imagery, you're now showing them all 3. So you're giving them 3 reasons to buy. Same with the, I don't even know how to say that, Baukchen ads, you can see they've sort of zoomed in on specific regions off the top that the lady's wearing, just to sort of highlight how specific parts of it looks. And then they've obviously got the branding on, the logo on there as well. And they've got a review from the Observer magazine on the other ads. So that's been pulled through dynamically. So that review is specifically linked. That's it on the plain catalog ads.
Can I just ask a question? Because I'm really curious and I've got a few things going on. So first of all, I guess the white background has been dictated very much by people like Amazon, who wants, and to a certain extent Google, that want something really, really plain. So I can, and because a lot of the shopping feeds sometimes are used across multiple platforms. But what I didn't pick up, and I don't know whether you mentioned it, is how you get this sort of super duper high level of creativity. Is that an advantage? Because I didn't think it was an Advantage Plus. Is that a third party piece of software that's allowing you to do these?
Yeah, so they're integration. So you use the same feeds, but then you design different templates within the partners, within the partner integrations, where you then design and apply that catalog to those templates that you design.
Okay, so could you give an example of, with these creative integrations, an example of a third-party software that we might want to use?
So these ones that we've used here, they're Confect.
Okay.
.io.
I noticed the reference on the bottom. I thought it might be Confect. And is that a very expensive add-on? I guess for most people who are spending quite a lot of money on this, because people that are doing these catalog ads, it tends to be a massive driver of traffic for them. So I'm guessing it's not expensive compared with the amount of money they're spending on the Facebook and the Meta ads itself.
Now they have different conditions depending on how many markets and how many products are in the feeds. But we do it as we have an agency account. So the clients, it goes through us essentially. But yeah, relatively speaking, we're talking about hundreds of pounds.
Yep.
Which is a drop in the water, especially for bigger brands. And even if you look at some of the earliest ones that I showed, even Amazon, they're using it, but in a minor way, because you can see they're pulling through the rating in the top right of the creative.
Right. Okay.
So that's
Amazon themselves are using it. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, they are, and they use all of the things that I've mentioned in terms of enhancements. They use frames, they use labels, and they use the creative enhancements. All the bigger brands, the Nikes, the Amazons, all of them are using it because it takes it to the next level. And in our case, and our clients like Bookstore, they're fortunate that we're on the ball and we're suggesting it so they can be an early adopter. And then since we've applied those, they've been able to increase their budgets because the return is coming in at a higher spend rate.
And then there's two questions from Loz and Stephen. So Loz, I think, is one of the people that knows what she's talking about from a point of view that she may have run this before. And she says, where do you run the test, at the ad level or a separate campaign? So when you're testing, say those three different versions of the Books to Door one, which she just showed, how would you test that? Would that just be different ads within a specific ad set?
I do it that way, but you do need to pay attention to the spend levels because sometimes Meta picks its own favorite and starts allocating. It doesn't allocate a fair amount of budgets to all of them. So you need to, if you're struggling with spends being uneven across the ads, then you do it on more of an ad set level where you can actually control the spend for each of them.
And then just for the benefit of the newbies, the campaign level is where you set up the objective of catalog ads. The ad set is where you would set up audiences and possibly create different ads, and then ads within an ad set. So that's why you can play around with different combinations to achieve what you need. Did you just want to say anything else on that? Make sure I've said that, explained that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just said it there. The ad set level is where you do the targeting, and then the ad level is where you create the actual ads.
Yep, brilliant. And how much do these ad costs?
I mean, there isn't a cost. You can set the budget to whatever you want, but just be aware that if you don't spend enough, then you're not going to be.
I think they probably meant on are you paying on a cost per click basis? Are you paying on a cost for the ad to be viewed? What's the relative? So if you were running an e-commerce website and you had £1,000 of budget a month or £500 of budget a month, is that going to drive a certain amount of traffic to your website at a cost per click, or are you likely to be paying on, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, so you can answer the question, or are you going to be paying for when your ads are seen?
I mean, you can choose, but predicting that kind of stuff is very difficult because it all depends on how well your ads do and how well the market reacts to your ad specifically. So,
but would you say 20 to 50 pence a click a landing page view? Would that be about right, or would it be less than that?
All depends. You don't know what. It depends how the market reacts to the type of products. If you're selling something quite dry, B2B, you could be paying pounds per click. If you're selling something there's a mass market for, then you're paying pennies per click.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the size of the audience, doesn't it? So
yeah, and if you've got mass appeal, if you've got a product that's got mass appeal, then there's a bigger audience. And if your ads look good, and they base it on how well the audience engages with your ads. So your targeting as well. If you've got irrelevant targeting and your ads are being shown to loads of people that won't be interested, then the algorithm picks up that this is actually not enhancing their experience. It's damaging because no one's clicking on it. Then the prices go up.
Absolutely. Because really, at the end of the day, Facebook wants you to stay on Facebook and maximize the engagement and be there for as long as possible, don't they? So the algorithm is they want ads that show that you like rather than the ones that you just ignore. Brilliant. That was just that point. So please carry on. That's good.
I don't think there are many slides left. I think there's about one.
Yeah.
So there's another element that you can add to your catalog ads that we use with multiple clients, and that's adding a creative and then including product underneath the creative. So again, you get the benefits of this is that it takes up more of the screen space. So instead of just having the square, you now have the square and the extra part underneath. So there's less competition for attention. You can either do collection ads, or it's one of the parts of the Advantage Plus. So if you upload a creative ad within the Advantage Plus features, you can toggle on catalogs. Just got to make sure that you match it with the right catalog if you're an agency, because it will just randomly pick one if you don't. So you can then you can test the creative as well. Here's two different examples of the same campaign that we're running at the moment, just to add some variety. And then you've got the products underneath. But yeah, it helps. It links up with everything that I've been saying before about making sure that you have key messages within your ads and making sure they're highlighted. So in this case, we want the key messages that it's the autumn sale and they can save up to 50%.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I'll just run through the conclusions before jumping into any discussion. So among e-commerce brands, catalog ads are the most popular type. They're designed to generate sales, which is why they're so popular, because at the end of the day, sales is what the majority of e-commerce brands are running ads for. so they give the greatest direct return on investment. They don't have to be plain as they used to be in the past. That was the only option then. Now there are different levels. Like I explained, you can add labels, you can add frames, and then you can have a completely different feed where you have loads of visual value. That helps add variation and elevates the performance, and it helps adding brand value as well. So yes, I think that's
Excellent.
all from me.
Okay, so what would be really useful is you've shown lots of lovely examples from our own and some of the stuff you collected. I think what would be really useful is if you could possibly just go and share your slides and show the Facebook ads library, because I think that would be really useful for people to understand as a technique that they can go and see what other people are doing. And even if they're not doing catalogue ads or e-commerce, it would still be a nice little useful tip for them for the end of the session. And then we can talk about a couple of other things why some people's catalogue ads don't work, for example. I think that might be quite useful. So could you possibly share your screen? You go to the plus sign. I think it will kick your slides out.
What exactly do you want me to do?
I would like you to go to the Facebook ad library and just choose a couple of brands and let's see what their ads look like. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't have that up at the moment, so I can't really share screen.
Okay, let me see if I can find it for you. So is there anything, apart from having a really good feed, which maybe we should talk about, is there anything else that stops e-commerce brands getting good results from Facebook ads or Meta ads? Are there things that other things that they might need to do which would be helpful?
Well, the tracking is vital. If you don't have tracking set up correctly, then you're never going to be able to track results, and the platforms are never going to be able to get the data needed to learn from the user's actions. So that's probably the most important part when it comes to performance.
Okay.
Targeting is obviously important as well. I know Meta at the moment, they're really pushing for what they call Advantage Plus shopping, which essentially includes almost no targeting at all, but solely relying on that, even though they say that's the best type of targeting. It's not worth, I wouldn't say take all of the advice from Meta directly. Still keep on trying different audiences and testing it.
We have the same problem when we look at Performance Max over on Google. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So this is the Facebook ads library, which you can just do a search in Google for. And what I've done is I've chosen United Kingdom, all ad types, and then pets. And this is pets at home, I think. So what we are starting to see is some of the pets at home ads. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So you can start to see the adverts from a specific brand. And that looks like that's an example of a catalogue ad there, isn't it? So you can see it's got the shop now. Let's have a look at somebody else. Let's have a look at John Lewis. John Lewis and Partners. If you see any other good ones, Emil are. So this is really useful for you to get an idea of, oh, I don't think that worked. Sorry. Must not clicked on the right button. This is really useful for you to get an idea of the sorts of ads that people are using in your sector. So if you're not really sure about the creativity or ads ideas, this is a good way of finding out what other people are doing. I'll see if they've got any. So you see there's quite a lot of video ads coming up there. You've got different size images. They don't seem to be doing many catalogue ads, do they?
Nah, the problem with the ads library is that it doesn't show the catalog ads as they would.
Yeah.
So
it's not.
if you see one with like a single image, it's probably a catalog ads.
Right.
You won't be able to see how it looks in the feed.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I suppose we could do books to door and see what that looks like, because then you can have a direct comparison with what Emil's been showing you.
But it's good to have a look. It's better. I find the ads library better for looking for inspiration and getting ideas, especially from bigger competitors. So here, for example, you see the one on the right there in the row of 3. If you scroll up a little bit so you can see ad details, whatever it's called. Yeah, there you go. If you click ad details and then scroll down, this is a catalog ads. This is a catalog ad. If you scroll down a bit more, you can see it's saying it's got 6 versions, but in reality, it's got endless versions because the feed has got thousands of products and it's dynamically just changing it over and over.
So for the people that are really unfamiliar with e-commerce, I guess the feed is quite an important part of this. And I did put in the chat about how the feed is created from the website and the contents in the website. And we tend to use the feed in multiple places, but you can enhance the feed, can't you, for Facebook? Because sometimes the way that it comes out of the website isn't perfect. And I guess that's some of the stuff that you're doing with this. But even sometimes the products and descriptions may not be as good. And so we can spend, what we talk about is feed optimization, trying to improve the feed. Some of these look lovely. These are the quite recent ones. Yeah, these are the new ones. And how often are you launching new ads then?
Well, when it comes to catalog ads, because they're dynamic, you don't have to refresh them as much as you would with a creative ad. So if you have a creative ad, you're showing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Whereas the catalog ads keep on changing the products. So users are unlikely to be shown the exact same ads over and over again. But if you're doing creative ads, you need to look at the frequency. Frequency is the measurement for how many times a user sees the same ad. And if the frequency is really high, then you need to refresh the ads more often. I can say Karen mentioned getting hacked, and that was something that happened to quite a lot of people 2 years ago. We had a client that happened to us. We have a new client that just came on board. They were hacked a couple of years ago. Facebook have applied stricter login restrictions. So they've got 2-factor authentication and stuff like that set up now, which makes it more and more difficult for hackers to actually go onto the account. But you need to have all that set up. So if you're worried about setting up ads again, I'd recommend getting advice from experts like ourselves, just so we can have a look that all the security measurements are set up properly.
So there's been quite a lot of questions while I was showing that. You've been answering the questions with Loz, which is about, do you just want to explain what you said? Which is about turning them on and off, I think.
Yeah, so if you have frames, you can add them on and you can remove them whenever you want. But then if you're running ads for Black Friday, it's a fairly new thing, actually. You can now set a start and end date for individual ads, which I think is a very good addition, because you used to only be able to do it on an ad set level, which then meant that you might have a high performing ad set that you wanted to add some Black Friday ads to, but you'd have to manually go in and pause it. But say you are running it on a weekend when staff aren't working, for example, you'd have to go in and manually pause the ads, which was quite annoying. You'd also have to push them live on the date, which then meant they still take a little bit of time before they're actually ready to go out. Now you can pre-plan and you can automate when it gets stopped as well. So it's a good feature for events like Black Friday when you've got spike campaigns going on.
So Vulcan asked about how to get to the Black Friday, and I think both of us have stuck links in there. So if you go in the chat, you should be able to pick up the links. And yeah, I mean, Karen's gone on quite a lot about the hacking and everything. I mean, I think it took us 4 months to get the money back, didn't it, from all of the, or to get it cleared off their account. Facebook are very difficult to deal with, but it does mean that it's good that they are being a lot tougher with is it two-factor authentication, verification of accounts and things like that. So when you log in to make changes, but you do need to watch it. Okay, so I think somebody's got a little bit confused about the Amazon catalog ads. Have you opened up on Amazon Shop to link to our website? Okay, so that's a different subject, Isabel. So what Isabel's asking about is, can you also run ads on Amazon as well? Amazon itself does have an ad platform if you advertise on Amazon. So you're effectively advertising your own products. So not only are you paying a commission, you're paying for ads as well. There is the ability within Amazon for larger brands to use something called their display advertising or DSP option, where you can actually advertise. So if you were Sony or something, you could have a Sony advert on Amazon, but that's usually not available for small advertisers. So I think there was a little bit of confusion at the beginning of the talk when, because I know I answered this, but Amazon spend a large amount of money in Google ads and a large amount of money in Facebook ads to get people over to Amazon. And that's different from you advertising on Amazon. So hopefully that will answer that question.
Yeah. It's Amazon advertising all the products on their site. It's not a business advertising through an Amazon ad on Meta.
Yeah.
It's Amazon basically just advertising everything that they think will perform just to get people over to Amazon so that they can earn their money on the commission side.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really a traffic generator, isn't it?
There are things in the pipeline, though. It's not been launched in the UK. Not sure if they've even managed to launch it in the US, but there was talks of integrations between Meta and Amazon, so you could start to run catalog ads where people would click directly through to Amazon and you can track it completely. But at the moment,
and the reason why that's useful is that sometimes people's websites are a bit rubbish. So effectively, instead of driving from Facebook across to your website, you could drive them across to Amazon where your websites are advertised. And you could do that now, but you wouldn't be able to use catalog ads. But also the tracking is non-existent, really, unless you've got ads running over in Amazon as well. So that's why that's quite an exciting development. But I think it was 6 months ago we saw that. We read about that, didn't we, Emil? And I don't think anything's happened.
I think it might even be a year. But
oh, really?
Yeah, it's the problem with having the ads on Meta that link to products on Amazon is that the tracking isn't there. If you have your own website, you set up tracking on your website. But this integration that we're talking about, that should be in development, that should help solve that issue with the tracking. Because if you're linking people to Amazon and then Meta has no idea about what they did on Amazon, they don't know about how much they spent and all that kind of stuff, then it's not feeding data back. So it's never going to run at a solid level.
Loz has just asked exactly that question. So the reason why the tracking is so important between Meta and your website is that if a sale happens on your website, we want to feed that information back into Meta so that we can, so that Meta knows who are the ideal customers and shows it to more. That's what all those awards were. That Segatoris with those for a Segatoris, which I can never pronounce, was all to do with the work of making sure that we could use something called the conversion API, which allowed us to put those conversions back in. Now, we can't do that with Amazon because Amazon isn't going to share the data with Facebook at the moment. And so you could send people over to your Amazon page, but you wouldn't know whether they converted or not. So this is the big problem. So the announcement that Emil's just been talking about, which was, as I said, I think we were talking about it nearly a year ago. Once that happens, then Facebook would know who clicked on your ad and went to Amazon, and that will give us a lot of really useful information. So once that's implemented, yeah, you bet we're going to be using it. It's going to be really powerful for a lot of people.
There's another element to that as well, is that where it gets a bit complicated. If you're advertising products through feeds and they're buying on your website, whatever they buy on your website is your product. If you're advertising a book and then they click onto Amazon and they buy a chair from a completely different company, they clicked your ads. So technically that revenue is linked to your ads, but it's got nothing to do with your business. So if you can see the challenge there in terms of getting that revenue tracking.
And that's a really important point, Emil, because it's exactly the same if you were running ads on Amazon. So Isabel's asking about that. Yes, you can run Amazon ads to get more people to see your page, but it's only worth you doing advertising if you've got the buy box on Amazon, which is basically the box where you can buy. If there's lots of other people selling the same product, you don't want to be spending money on advertising, or you aren't able to spend money on advertising if you're not going to be the one that gets the benefit of it. So in exactly the same, if there's more than one person selling the same product as you, you're not the brand owner, then sending traffic over from Facebook to Amazon when you're not going to make the sale is not going to be very helpful. It's 10 till 10. I'm not sure if there's any more questions. If any of you are e-commerce like Loz, anybody else who's got an e-commerce website, we are running an e-commerce lunch next Thursday. If you are interested in that, I'll just put the bit.ly in here so that you can sign up for that. It would be really lovely if you guys could give Emil a review either on Google or reviews.io. So Tony, do you know how to get to the offers? It's bottom right, that little chat bot. If you go and look in there, if you like to launch an offer, that would be brilliant. And then we can give Emil a nice review.
You should probably mention the e-commerce launch is in Leicester.
Oh yes, very good point. Yes, if any of you want to come to Leicester for the e-commerce lunch, it's next Thursday, but you need to be running an e-commerce website. So I am going to just put the link to that now. If any of you are interested in coming, you do need to actually be running an e-commerce website. We do have some other networking events. So we do have on the second Wednesday, we run a networking with the local creative centre called you will get we will do a confirmation for you. Let me just make sure I've got the right URL. Just going to get that now. Yep, I didn't get it quite right. I'm just going to edit what I'm sending you. Is there anything else to add? Tony, who have we got next week talking?
So next week we have the head of paid media, Holly. She's going to be taking us on how to use AI in PPC. And the invites are going to go out by Monday. So everyone can go ahead to sign up for that. I don't know if you've already put the you've already put the bit.ly link for the e-commerce in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Emil. That was quite informative. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. Remember, just a little bit of housekeeping. The handouts are in the handout section. You can go ahead to download it there. and the video is going to be up on the website later on.
Yeah, I just put the Eventbrite as well. I think I've done that wrong. So you can, hopefully the Eventbrite or the link will work.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks, Emil. That was, I really enjoyed that. There was a lot there that was new for me, so that was great. No, sorry, agencies aren't allowed to come. You're allowed to come to the LCB on the second Wednesday of the month, but the only agencies and suppliers that are coming to the e-commerce lunch are actually sponsors. So we will be holding a conference in February where agencies are allowed to come, but unfortunately you won't be able to come to it's only brands and e-commerce and brands and retailers for the e-com lunch. Okay, see you guys. I'll speak to you later, Edwina, if you've got a query. It might be worth you emailing me. Thanks a lot, guys.